Hey guys, welcome back to ESL TV for the ESL One Battlefield 4 Fall Season Group Stages. We're underway with Group A, and into our final game of the night, we have now a rematch of the first game that we did earlier on. It's Elevate up against PKD. Ooh. And Alex, why don't you walk us through the map pool, because it sounds pretty similar to something we saw earlier, except in every game so far today.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Yet again, no surprise to any of you guys or us in the studio, we haven't seen the new maps in the map pool. Teams just are not confident, and yet again, we're going to see those same three. We're going to see Zavod, we're going to see Dawnbreaker, and instead of Locker, like we did in the first time these teams match up this evening, we're going to be seeing Paracel Storm. So that's interesting, and it's also worth noting that they've picked the other way. They picked complete opposite to how they did last time, with Elevate this time picking Dawn and Zavod being picked up by PKD, which is, of course, opposite to last time. Still though, guys, 5 seconds on that counter. You know the rosters as well as I do, but I'll let you know just one more time for the PKD side. We are seeing Safe, a new addition. If you haven't been following too closely, you will be surprised to see that name with the PKD tag. And of course, after that, we do have Jansen, Hysteria's in Nosy and Outsider. And then over on the Elevate side, we do have Tofi, Lagza, Kryzer, Malcolm XT, and of course, Zam. Jason, how is the early game starting to shape up?
Well, we do have an early 2-1 here for the side of PKD, picking up B and A. And of course, Elevate, I think last time we saw them take B and C at the same time, where they actually were able to, hold that for quite a bit in the beginning. But either way, PKD, off to a strong start. They're starting to lose on a couple of men, though, as you can see, towards that B flag with that skull and crossbones. And they are getting pushed and shoved straight out of the flag. So B, C picked up yet again for Elevate. Now the question comes down to, can they pick it up? Can they maintain it? And can they keep all 5 members in the server?
Yeah, and this is such an important game for both members, both in staying in the server and by winning. I mean, it's so important. The winner of this, of course, continues on through to the playoffs, and the other has to go home with a tail between their legs. Right now, very level playing field in regards to tickets. See where this C flag goes. Right now, it looks to be going towards Planetkey Dynamics side, but I don't think it's going to be there for too long. We do see a swarm of red. In fact, the entire Elevate side all there looking to spread out towards that B flag, looking to control it. They've got great positioning. Zam at the forefront of that one is going to pick up the frag for a second. Not going to get it just yet, though. Is going to be weaving around this container fantastically from there. And we're going to see. I've got my eyes on Kryzer. He's sat pretty still on that side. We'll see whether he can make anything of that. Instead, what's he doing? He's completely just sprinting instead of holding that position. If he had stayed stationary, we would have seen that C site just locked down safely from a position we haven't. But we don't see that often. Instead, Jansen is going to be able to solo cap this C flag, and that all falls to the shoulders of Kryzer. What a mistake.
Everyone died on the side of Elevate in the matter of 2 seconds. Like, everyone just died, and they got so lucky, too, because when they attacked C, they had all 5 men there hitting that flag, while only 2 people in PKD were able to defend against it, and they could have been back cap. Like, Epsilon, if they were PKD at that point, they would have sent Hork towards B. He would have, picked it up and caused a real power struggle yet again, but PKD not really reading into as much, though they still have the 2-1. We're all tied up here in tickets as well, about 2 minutes into this game. Elevate looks like they're starting to set up for a push onto the C flag here. All 5 men starting to wake their way across this midsection and get around in a couple different directions, but they're being taken down one by one, being swatted away. And again, Elevate are starting to struggle a little bit. PKD looking a lot stronger than the first time these two teams met.
And the first time these two teams met on this map, we did see Elevate get the slight first half advantage. I believe it was around that 10 tickets at the moment, though PKD look a bit fresher. Maybe they've gone back to the drawing board with this one, changing it up. It has been a very quiet first half at the moment. Lots of positional play, not so much kind of fragging. Pretty quiet. I'm trying to look at the scoreboard. See 15 to 13, so very little actual exchanges going on so far in this game. Instead, lots of splitting and looking for the picks. You see Kryzer is going to be diving into the depths of this site. Can't get the frag, though. Not sure what he was doing. Just putting bullets over his opponent's shoulder instead of putting them into his chest. And now we do see that C flag is going to be going over to the Elevate side. Zam now into split over towards that A flag. Isn't going to successfully take down Jensen, though.
Fantastic read.
I mean, it's just they're missing out on these frags. That's the second time I've cut to an Elevate member, and they've just completely fluffed his lines.
Well, you have to keep in mind, so we saw Nosy, once he realized they lost the C flag, he started rotating towards A as quick as he could. But Jansen, or not Jansen, sorry, who was that man? Oh, who was it? It was, I believe, Zam, I'm going to guess. Started rotating back towards A, realized that they're probably going to hit A back capless. And when he went for that,
you're right.
Jansen spawned on top of a Nosy. He picked up the kill onto Jansen, but they got taken down by Nosy, but his teammate Tofi, I think, was there to pick up the kill back onto him. So they read into what was going to come next, stopped the push in towards A. It was a fantastic job. And now Zam picking up 2 frags towards A flag, going to be able to pick that up and Elevate. Really They're doing a lot better. That was a great read by them.
Yeah, they really seem to be reading the expected pushes and anticipating where they're going to be meeting the most force, the most resistance, I should say. As now, once again, Zam heading towards that B flag. There's going to be one man to find him, and it was beautifully hidden out by Inozi, sorry, for PKD. In the meantime, though, the Elevate side have put a lot of their eggs in the C basket. They're not looking to stay there long, though. We can see the swarm back out towards that middle area. They really want to set up this perimeter. And look at that line of red there, Jason.
This is the mistake we were or not mistake, this is the play style that we were talking about earlier, is that they're going to throw all their eggs in one basket and attack a flag, but teams like Epsilon read into that. They're like, all right, well, they're going to do that, so we're going to back cap every time. And PKD, they've kind of started to do it. They've kind of failed at it as well. They're trying to read into that strategy and kind of work around it like Epsilon did earlier on, and that's the way to counter it. But luckily, Elevate are kind of, I don't want to say they're getting lucky, but they're definitely have a little bit something on their side when it comes to these pushes, because they're picking up the kills, but when they do rotate back, they're doing it smartly, and they seem to catch them every single time.
Now, Lagza just sitting on top of the tank, sitting pretty, diving back into the depths. He's very quick to move around the map at the moment at Lagza. He hasn't ever really been the stationary player, but right now, sat on 9 frags just underneath Zam, who's got a beautiful 11. He's really been performing well at the moment. In contrast, on the other side, we do see 9-3 for Inozi, player who I have previously highlighted. I haven't really noticed too much from him, but right now he is bringing it home for his team. The tickets are staying pretty level, and we have to keep addressing the fact that, obviously, last time these two met on this map, Elevate did clinch the first half. So PKD got a lot to prove, and Jansen's not going to be the man to prove it. He goes down. And now with the BC hold, we're seeing this huge push from Elevate through this middle area. They managed to neutralize the two players. Jansen put to bed by Kryzer. And now, as the time just ticks away, we are going to see that advantage starting to extend for the Elevate side.
Yeah, sitting about 20 ticket lead here, slowly working their way up. And it was a nice pick by, I believe that was Lags onto the one-man PKD who was sitting on the very south side of that B flag, waiting for everyone to rotate off it before he did go for the re-attack here. But PKD falling back to their old strats, kind of just trying to work straight in towards the C flag here, while they already have Elevate set up perfectly to kind of counter this. And it looks like they will, though, be successful this time, it seems, onto this attack. Though they're getting taken down here, and it looks like Elevate are going to be able to maintain it. I'm not sure who picked up a couple of frags there, but it was huge, and they're going to hold them back. PKD going to be unsuccessful with this take, and now they're going to be looking at a 30-plus ticket deficit.
It's not looking all too good, actually, at the moment for PKD. I was always expecting to see a bit of a late comeback from them, but instead, Elevate have just got this kind of a bit stronger, a bit more condense in their defensive maneuvers. They're not really overextending so much. That was something I kind of I highlighted before. I was saying Elevate, if they overextend, it usually goes poorly. But right now, instead of PKD taking advantage of that, Elevate just aren't doing it. And so when there's no mistakes being made by Elevate, or if they are not the usual ones, it's very difficult for PKD to climb back from this one. 77-35 now, slipping through their fingers at the moment, and Safe, the new pickup right now, sat on a measly 4 frags for 12.
Yeah, look at that. It knows the 11-5 for PKD's side. I mean, no one has 10 frags except him, and he is kind of really carrying their team. On the other side, though, you have 14-6 for Lags, or 13-6 for Zam, and 11-8 for Malcolm so far. It's honestly, it's really unfortunate for the side of PKD right now. They're not picking up the frags when they need to. You know, Safe, I don't know what kind of role he's playing for his team, but he's leading in score, though. Has pretty much the worst KDA on his team alongside Hysteria, both 5 and 12 here. And looks like they finally got a little bit of control. They have B, they have C, and now we just need to see them hold it. We need to see them just kind of set up and start to whittle away at this ticket lead that right now Elevate do have. Yeah,
and the questions that have to be raised right now is, what are they doing wrong? I'm looking towards Elevate. I'm looking towards, in particular, Kryzer and Lagza, as those are the players that really played fantastically on this map previously. And I'm not entirely sure if they're doing the same this time. Lagza, admittedly, is on 15 frags, leading for his team in terms of frags. But right now, they're looking to close that gap. The AB hold is staying and sticking for PKD. I was not expecting this. Nor was I expecting Safe to suddenly pick up 3 or 4 frags in a row.
All right, well, finally Safe able to read into the strategy a little bit more, it seems. Was able to attack the A flag while B was being contested by Elevate. And they do have a 2-1 for a split second here. But again, Elevate able to get onto that B flag as quick as they possibly can. PKD gonna clean up the kills as well as they need to at that C flag. So they will get the 2-1. But look at this backspawn coming in. We're gonna have one man. It's gonna be Lagzer backspawn on A with a random respawn. And now he's going to force PKD to make a decision. Are we going to attack B with all of our men, or are we going to send people back and go for a split push? And they sent 2 towards B, but there's 4 men of Elevate to defend against this.
It's this back and forth. I was starting to think PKD had nothing up their sleeve, and right now they are looking to assault towards this A site. They have managed to bring those tickets down by a good 30 or 40. And right now they're looking to kind of, well, I say damage control. They could very well bring this all the way back to a very slight advantage in this first half. Obviously, every advantage counts. These teams are very evenly matched. Admittedly, not so much on the previous game when we were on Dawnbreaker, but here on Zavod, there's very little that separates them. Right now, Inozi, though he is at the top of the scoreboard, he's not making too many moves for these sites. That C flag is pretty safe in the hands of Zam and Lagza. In the meantime, there's a 3-man push. Tofi at the front of it. Let's see how well this pays off, as the safe is going to fall before I can even get to him, and so is his partner in crime. That B flag's going to go over, and Elevate finally stopped that double cap. That was making things pretty strong for PKD. Still, though, tickets are starting to favor Elevate. Just that dangerous amount, and if they close it off anywhere near 30, this is going to be a fantastic half for Elevate. It's kind of come out of nowhere, Jason.
It's been a very close game for the majority of it. PKD's been able to read into strats well. They've been able to counter them. But Elevate, it just seems like they've been able to maintain the 2-for-1s a little bit longer. They've obviously been able to pick up way more kills than their opponents. It's currently at 56 to 73. That's how big it is between these two teams. I mean, if you think about 1 kill being a ticket, that's about 20 tickets between the team right there in kills alone.
In kills alone. That is, and I mean, you know, you see these revives, but every single frag, those timers are the big deal. That's where the real problem lies. Is if you're forcing 3 or 4 members onto spawn timers, that's when you have to. That's when you make the pushes for the sites, and that's exactly what they were doing. It really worked out for for Elevate eventually, but I was starting to doubt them.
Yeah, it was getting a little bit rough.
Yeah,
but it seems like they were able to carry themselves through. I mean, they've been Lagzer and Chrysler have been topping the scoreboards for their team in terms of kills throughout I think the entire night, but it's not like it's been 20 kills for them and 10 kills for the next teammate. It's been pretty close. They've just been the ones that are topping it every single time. And look at the kills. Topi 13, Zam 17, Lagzer 16, Malcolm 16, and Chrysler 11. Like, they have been all fragging really well. They have really good KDAs right there. And obviously, like we're saying, back when they're playing against Epsilon, it's FPS 101. If you can't kill someone, then you're not going to win a game, and they've definitely been able to do that against PKD.
And that was a problem for Safe. I mean, this is a player who has been brought in. Admittedly, he was removed from his team, wasn't by choice, but he's come into this team, and I would describe it as going from a team who would you class MYM higher than PKD?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from going from a team that a lot of people, the majority would say was better, being dropped into PKD, and getting 4 for 12, I think eventually he was 8 for like 15, 16. That's a very poor KDA. Admittedly, he was at the top of the scoreboard, so he's making the legwork. He's catching the sights. I think he's got his own game plan in his head. Perhaps it's not gelling so well with what PKD want to be doing. There's probably a bit of friction between those teams, or between those members of that team. And I think that may be costing them right now. Safe seems to know what he wants to do. He's top of the scoreboard with only 4 frags. That says, that says a lot about how that's going for the PKD side.
I wonder if his role has changed.
That's what as in he's no longer the shot caller, he's the Horak?
No. I think he went from being a shot caller, but being an anchor shot caller. So he would be more defensive to more of a slayer. I wonder if he was changed around, because I don't think he's the caller anymore. At least I don't think he should be at the moment, unless they've had a little bit more time together, unless they didn't really have a strong caller beforehand. But I think he's being more aggressive, and that's why he's not really performing well. He's not used to the style. He's not used to the style with the team, more importantly. I think that might be one thing that's kind of hindering him in his play.
It's a possibility. I think he hasn't been playing particularly well as an individual, but also, of course, with any sort of roster swaps, any sort of changes to a team, there's always going to be a settling period, and perhaps they haven't quite rode that one out just yet. 15 seconds on this countdown. Very slight lead for the Elevate side around that 30 ticket mark. And going into this one, right now we need to see a strong start from PKD.
All right, so let's see how this one kicks off. Obviously swapping. And we're going to see Elevate now on the Russian side here. We're going to have a little bit of a more, I want to say difficult start. But they're going to commit 1 man towards A. They're going to commit 1 man towards middle. I really like this play to Lagzer to actually be over there. And I believe Malcolm just got, or not Malcolm, who was that man? Who was it? It was Tofi getting taken down by an RPG there. It sounded like it.
It looked like it too. Lags has got a great position, misses the Magnum shot. It doesn't make the same mistake again with the CZ, and he's just going to be roaming around middle. Does get put in his place by Safe, though, and that's going to open up that middle push towards A. You can see Inozi's already there. Safe not so far behind, and we see Kryze as being this very passive defense on A. But I think that's actually going to be an issue for them, unless, of course, Kryze can win out on this 1v1. He's going to be
a weird spot.
I don't know why he went so far back. It's unusual.
I think maybe he was expecting someone to rotate from C towards A from the outside from over there to kind of catch him off guard.
But yeah, he'd already
they just ran down middle.
Yeah, and so now they have got that CA hold. It can be a tough one to get through. Actually, Zam's the man already challenging it. It's interesting to see that Elevate's pace has completely changed. They've got the revive as well. The numbers are going to start flooding in towards this site. And look at that. Elevate immediately take down Asterias to bring the C site home. And there's very little that PKD can do in response, as right now already that C flag is going over. But they've sent many numbers back through the underground. Outsider coming through as well. Obviously the previous shot caller, or probably the current shot caller for PKD. We don't know quite Safe's role yet. In fact, that's something I'm going to be actively finding out for the next stream tomorrow. So if you guys do tune in, hopefully we'll have more information for you on whether or not what Safe exactly is doing. Right now we can only speculate, but it doesn't seem like he's doing the same role like we said before.
Yeah, I'm going to keep more of an eye on it. I feel like he's being more aggressive, being more of an attacker. Well, can't really watch too much right there as he does get dropped. But either way, we do have PKD still maintaining a 2-1. So off to a good start here. But remember, if they drop below 31 tickets, then that will be Elevate picking up the first map victory and taking us over to Dawnbreaker for a second time tonight between these two teams. And it looks like they've been able to play well. They picked up, I think, 4 frags towards the middle area, and they almost got a full squad wipeout. So the BC going to be held onto, or at least turned over. And now, again, they're back to that kind of situation where they have time to set up. They have time to get prepared for this attack that will be coming in. But they're playing it so aggressive. They're not even playing on the site. They're actually trying to meet PKD halfway here in the actual map. Trying to meet them on the opponent's side. And as we can see right now, it's not working out too well for them as they're falling one by one. 3 men do drop. And they're going to lose a C flag for that. I really don't know why they were playing so aggressive. Maybe it was to catch them off guard. But I feel like hunkering down inside of the C building makes it really difficult for a team to break it.
Yeah, and the only site in this map on Zavod, the only map I can, the only flag I can see hunkering down and sitting in that I've ever seen really work is that play between the C and B sites where you hold in that middle area, you destroy these walls in this kind of upper left corner of the C building, and then you have this perfect way where you can sit in C quite safely and maintain both sites from there. And that's the only time I've really seen it work. We do see Outsider with the NG class, and they have opened up that side, but right now they don't seem to be making it work for them just yet. So Elevate do have a very slight lead, holding on to that B flag, but great pick from Outsider with the incredible range of the CZ. You have to remember that that is an SMG, believe it or not. Asteria's in the same boat as well. So that's 2 for the PKD side with the SMGs, in contrast to just the 1 in the hands of Lagza.
All right, well, right now we do see Elevate going for a back hit onto the C flag. Ooh. And, well, man shot not really going to connect right there, but they still have a man advantage at this flag if they do want to attack it. But the longer they take, the more time PKD has to rotate over, and they've already sent 3 men over there. They're actually going for a back cap towards B at the same time here, and we're only seeing a 1-for-1 trade right now. Elevate, they've got to be quicker about this take if they want to have a chance of locking down C and hold on to B. And you know what? They're going to lose B. They're going to lose almost every single man except now Malcolm at the C flag. This could be a tri-cap here.
It looks to be exactly that. There is red all over the map. PKD got smiles on their faces as well, as now the bleed is truly on, and anything Elevate do now, it has to be done quickly. They need to stave off this bleed. They need bandages wrapped around every single part of the body of Elevate. I'm just trying to catch up. Where is it? Tofi. There he is. The man who's sneaking on the outside. He's considering pushing towards B, and this is something that previously Elevate has not done well. They've always thrown everything they can to quickly capture a site to stop the trip cap. This time, they tried to spread it out, and it's going to be a squad wipe into the trip cap. This is where, just watch that number on the Russian side just crumble. This is fantastic setup from the PKD side, and they're going to have to do something fast.
The thing is, getting squad wiped is bad. You lose 5 tickets guaranteed. But getting squad wiped when you're 3 capped against you is even worse. I mean, obviously it's going to be bad, but the thing is, you spawn pretty far away. You have to all run towards an area. You have to also, as a caller, be like, all right, well, this is where we're at. This is where we need to attack, because you can't just kind of say, let's attack A when we're getting B, C spawns, and they have every flag. It's a lot of time committed to running him.
What? Sorry, that was just a bulletproof player. I don't know what happened there. He was putting bullets everywhere, and for some reason, nobody died. How odd. There was a rocket into his chest, and Malcolm just walked away a happy man.
Well, look who's in his chest and not his pocket.
Yeah. Well, rocket to the pocket.
No, rocket. Is that a rocket in my pocket?
I think you're just pleased to see me right now. 63 to 94.
Come on, you know that one. I know you know.
B to C. And we do see Lagza acting as the spawn beacon for his team. He's taking his time with this one, though. Look at this. He's not bothering to jump down the stairs. That's not the Lagza we know and love. And it's reflected in his score. Yes, he's 10 for 6. Yes, once again, for the I think it's pretty much 95% of the time. And is always at the top of the scoreboard. 95% he's always at the top of the scoreboard. That makes no sense. But at least I tried.
You're right 60% of the time, every time.
60% of the time, it works every time. The A site is yet again being questioned by Jansen. Jansen, we haven't highlighted him too much, but he has been a ever presence on that A site.
Well, right now you can see with what he's doing, it's working out well for them. 90 to 42. The tickets are really bleeding away very quickly here for Elevate, and BKD might be able to come out with the first map victory here. It's been in the works for quite a while, obviously losing out to them by 10 tickets in the first map because of the DCs that happened in the second half of that one. It made it a little bit difficult for them to come back. And right now, if they keep this up, they can be looking at a 2-0 victory for themselves over Elevate and their spot into the playoffs.
Yep, not smooth sailing for them at the moment. B and C are in the hands of Elevate. Elevate, sorry. But
that's their B team, right?
That's their B team, yeah, Elevate. Obviously, this is the V team. But right now, we do see that C. Finally, I was going to say the B flag does go over Elevate. They kind of were holding the consolation prize of that B flag finally being taken away from them. And now Kryzer and his comrades are trying to break through, but I think PKD are going to go for an offensive defense as he charges round outsider, bullet to the brain of Tofi. And that's just the beauty of the CZ is you're never, or sorry, very rarely, I can't go saying never, never say never. When the CZ, you really almost always going to win out on those 1v1s. Charging in forward now, looking to extend this push through towards the C flag. It's got a rocket, and it doesn't land in the pocket as outsider is going to be starting to push through the hip fud. Going to dive into the depths. His teammates are already there, and that C flag is going to be a brawl. But what I'm going to turn my attention right now to is this 1v1 between Malcolm and Asterias. Right now, it's 1-0 to Malcolm. It's the hip fire. Asterias gets one onto Lagza. That's not the man he's looking for. It's not the droids he's looking for. He does go down. Yet again, it's the BC hold, and look at that, 22 tickets for Elevate.
Just everywhere. Justin Bieber, now
I like to mix it up.
Oh, man. Well, either way, I mean, they've been able to take down quite a few tickets. Now, just keep in mind, 18 tickets left for Elevate, but if you look on the side of PKD, they have 31 as the threshold, so they have about 36 tickets left to work with here. So it's still a very, very close game at this point. And it comes down to a lot of these 1v1s you're going to be breaking out in just a few seconds, a lot of the holds as well. And, well, we're going to see PKD pick up A. They're going to be able to lock down C in the meantime. And if Kryzer and Malcolm aren't successful at this A flag push, then I think it might just be it here. They don't have a lot of tickets left to work with. They need to get this A cap, and it looks like smartly, Jansen's going to sit back, let them cap A, and then go for the retake here when his teammates do arrive, and they have finally come here to help out. And we're going to see a 1-for-1 trade so far, but the revive also going to be able to get safe up in just a few seconds. And Kryzer, the last man in the squad, the last man to defend this one. And if he doesn't do anything about it, this should be game, because B's capped over, and they don't have the tickets even respawn back in. PKD, they're going to pick up the first map victory, and we'll be going over to Dawnbreaker here in just a few minutes. I'm going to find out if Elevate can come back from that one. Fantastic job by PKD this time.
Yep, last couple of tickets taken away. Obviously, they do have that 31 ticket from the last half, but unless they somehow magically relinquish 2 of those sites from Planetkey, we are going to see it come to a close. And with style, actually. Credit to PKD, despite Elevate's advantage from the first half, managing to overcome 31 tickets to bring map 1 home. That's contrast to our first time we saw these teams meet, where we did see Elevate secure Zavod as map 1. Obviously, map 2, guys, is going to be Dawnbreaker, as Jason mentioned. And it's a map these teams we did just meet on. I mean, it was 2 games ago. We did see these teams meet on Dawnbreaker, when you have to consider that Elevate won that one as well with a 48 ticket advantage. So that's, I mean, these guys have met and they both know how each team's play. Is it about adapting, or is it just about PKD weren't ready the first time?
I think,
you know, because, I mean, PKD, they looked shaky. They didn't, it was a 2-0 sweep in favor of Elevate. And after being dropped down, they're looking to come back with a vengeance. That was such a convincing Zavod.
I think maybe it was a warm-up period.
Yeah, it always can be the case.
They won 2 over Animate as well. Maybe it's just kind of, you know, the first game of the day. They were a little bit rusty in this one. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of give insight to it when I don't know, like, the dynamics of the team. You know,
it's probably the team I know the least about. You're right. When I'm trying to talk about PKD, I'm sat there like, why? Outsider is the in-game leader. They kind of keep them to themselves when playing.
Yep. Go ahead.
I think they do.
I was going to say something, but it just would have been stupid.
I'm glad you bit your tongue. So yeah, I'd say they keep.
Kind of like they're outsiders.
Oh God. Yes, it is.
Keep it to
PKD,
themselves.
you know, outsider, and they all seem to be like outsiders. I love it. That's beautiful.
Because they're keeping to themselves.
Yes, I got it. That's beautiful. Jason, pun.
That's BF4.
Jason, Jason, the pun master.
All right, guys. Well, we do have Malcolm actually going to be reconnecting again. He was, I guess, having some issues, so we're going to head to a quick break here for about 5 minutes' time. Quick thoughts on this one, Dawnbreaker.
I think we're going to see.
It was the most one-sided map we saw between these two teams earlier on with 48 tickets.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a repeat of what we've just seen, where Elevate go in with some confidence and PKD shut it down, and hopefully they don't go for that horrible splitty A slow play we saw the first time this team went on to Dawnbreaker. We'll see where it goes, guys, but I think we're going to go for a very 5-minute break. A very 5-minute break? A 5-minute break.
Hey guys, welcome back to ESL TV for the ESL One Battlefield 4 Fall Season Group Stage. We're getting underway now with potentially our final map of the night. It is our final game of the night, guaranteed though.
Yep.
And it's going to be on Dawnbreaker here between Elevate and Planetkey Dynamics. PKD finally able to come up with a victory between the two teams in this matchup.
Yep.
But Dawnbreak, I don't know. It was. We were talking before the break, and we were wondering, was it them warming up? Was it them kind of just taking some time to get, hanging things again? Or was it just their play style? And obviously, there was a big change between the first time these two teams met and the second time. I wonder what's going to happen on Dawnbreak, because this one would be more of a determining factor of what was changed, I think. We're going to finally figure out if it was strategy, or if it was them warming up, because this is more of an aim-heavy map than most. Yeah, you're right. And throwing pens around the studio. What I would say... This is why we can't have nice things.
It's my thinking pen. No! I was going to point at it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, so
I got you.
What I would remember, what I would mention is that, you have to remember how Dawnbreaker went last time. You mentioned it, you kind of touched on it there.
Where's that one?
Yeah,
you go.
Thank you.
Got this.
So 48 ticket advantage in the first half. Elevate absolutely destroyed. You need to stop pointing.
I'm trying to throw you off now with some other scores.
Elevate absolutely destroyed the first time these teams met. And it was kind of, I think it was, no, I take it back. Elevate didn't destroy. They just destroyed the PKD who were doing stupid strategy. I mean,
well, they did destroy the 4 people on PKD that were playing in that map.
It wasn't that long for a DC, was it? I'm pretty sure.
It was...
Was it the determining factor?
That was a weird sound.
It was,
I don't know if it's a determining factor, but we're going to find out if obviously both teams stay connected this time exactly what will happen. Kick this one off. Dawnbreaker, potentially our final game of the night here. PKD over on the Chinese side, Elevate over on the US side. And, well, PKD going for a similar strategy off the bat.
Yeah, they're quite happy to let this B side go over initially. I don't think that's a problem for them. They like to see Elevate cap it early, but all it means is they have the ability to retake and see this kind of grouping with the Nosy with the Engineer class. He's going to finally start making his way over there, see what he can find. Jason, what do you think is the main priority now as PKD finally look to retake B? Is it killing off this kind of B house, or is it more the external player over in the far corner?
I'm going to go deep on this analysis here. I think their main goal is to get flags and kill people and not die.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's the general strategy I'm going for both these teams, actually. I think for PKD is just momentum, control it. Don't let Elevate get some momentum,
God, I'm a sucker for a Magnum headshot. That sounds and looks fantastic. Lags does not last another minute, though, as he does go down. Jansen, the man behind the frag.
You look unsatisfied with my analysis.
I
was going somewhere.
You were,
and then the Magnum shot had to happen.
I'm sorry. I mean, yes, they have to cap flags, but there's a little more depth to it than that. I was
getting into it, the momentum.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so momentum.
Yeah, they need to control momentum out of Elevate, because one thing the PKDs did well last time on this map was the rotates. They went in for these long rotates towards the A flag multiple times. But that was also their downfall, because it took them too long to do it. So maybe a little bit quicker, control a bit more momentum for their side, and then just kind of hold the flags.
Yeah, holding flags that's the key word, hold, because we know that PKD have absolutely no problems with capturing flags and rotating, the correct way, and I don't think we've ever questioned that. But they always seem to slip away, usually like a squad wipe or losing 2 or 3 members very quickly, and it always seems to cost them. They always seem to get the initial cap and then throw it away, and right now Elevate is just profiting from that. They've only foregone 5 tickets to almost 50 of PKD, and we're looking to see almost a repeat of the first half, or the first time these met on this map.
I'm a little bit confused right now.
Why is that?
Why is that, Jason? I'm always confused. But why is PKD struggling so damn bad right now? Like, what is happening? Like, this is... I don't understand, because
I know why.
They've taken 5 tickets away.
Look who's doing the same strategy that didn't work last time.
But they took more than 5 tickets last time when this happened.
It's true. It is really falling away. We're 2 minutes in, and already over 60 or so tickets have fallen from PKD to only 5 of Elevate. I don't know what Elevate have done, but it looks like PKD are absolutely struggling. They've just won a map. I don't know what's going on. Great positioning from a Nosy, though, to capture Kryzer without him expecting it. You see a rocket flying towards Nosy's face. Didn't quite manage to take him down, though, as Tofi does fall. And, I mean, PKD, they take so long to get any of these pushes. This has been, 2 minutes in the making, and all Nosy's done is managed to take the A site, but for how long? It's going to cost them 2, make it 3 players all pushing towards this site, and Nosy's just going to go down for it.
They've lost 70 tickets for this almost. Like,
for an A push. And look at that
What?
C flag. As if Zam woke up and actually kind of got a move on, he would have that A flag by now. The C flag, sorry, by now. He's just sitting there. This is a mistake from Elevate, and nobody is profiting from it. Finally, the random respawns come in from PKD, but that was too long for Zam to just sit there. Right now, you know, I don't think he even needs those legs. He could just be a human turret right now.
Well, I'm wondering if he didn't go over there because, well, either A, he didn't know, or I'm wondering if there was like someone in the team telling him, like, we've got the A flag, don't worry about it, and he wanted to maintain catwalk.
He wanted to keep B as well. I mean, I was looking over it. He was the only man to cast his eyes over B as well.
Okay.
That's what it costs when you send 4 players to defend a site. You know, that's when you start losing all of your teammates.
Look at it again right now. He's all by himself. No, we just got a respawn towards the C flag, and B's being attacked, and he's not even stopping.
So passive. I'm not sure what's. I mean, we're criticizing Elevate. All credit to them. They are ahead in tickets, but that is starting to fall away from them. They do have lost the B site. It was courtesy of Safe, but I think that's going to be recaptured by Lagza, who is yet again, believe it or not, on the top of the scoreboard in terms of KDA. Him and Tofi this time. This is the first time Tofi's joined him. Now holding hands in that 10 frag club. But right now, Lagza is just, he is head and shoulders above the rest of his teammates in terms of individual play, and he's a playmaker. He's not necessarily just getting the frags. We saw that from Zam before for Elevate. He was getting frags, but not really making too much happen. Here on Lagza, he does definitely make the plays as well, and yeah, all credit to him. But right now, they need to keep hold of this A flag. It looks like it's going to be questioned right now. It's a 2v2. Jumping on board with Kryzer as he's going to be putting some extra bullets in the magazine, charging through. Doesn't need to do too much, though, as he's going to get caught from behind by the ACW of Outsider, and then we're going to see the A site flipping over. But can they return the favor on C? Zam may have to move for this to happen, and I don't think he's going to do it.
Maybe his
Look at it.
keyboard
What's wrong
broke.
with this? Is he moving kind of with like a rollerball mouse or something?
Playing with a trackball?
He can't even hit the shots when he doesn't actually get. There we go. Zam is actually on the move, ladies and gentlemen. Things. Nope.
He's going back home.
No, he's going back. Okay, I got excited. I almost started standing up, but no, he is back. Zam. And it's not benefiting him. I mean, I don't want to be overcritical, but right now, what this man is doing.
Luckily for his team, they got A back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know, you're lucky a little bit right there. They got A back, but I mean, I don't want to question it too much because they have a 75 ticket lead right now. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with you. It's weird.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's working. 75 tickets is a lot.
And I'll tell you what's working is this little triangle of players. Elevate 3 players.
Hit tab. Just hit tab and just look.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so the most deaths we have for Elevate are 6 in contrast to the beautiful, we're seeing 2 10s and 2 8s. It's a dangerous game for PKD they're playing right now. Just losing out on everything. Every 1v1, every duel that is thrown their way, they seem to be losing out on. And Tofi, despite missing 30 bullets, is going to... Nope, I thought he was going to pick up the frag. Doesn't. Does go down, actually, at the end of that exchange. We are going to see the B flag go over. I'm going to cut back to our main man, who has been defending B for about 25 minutes now. And he is not going to contribute... Oh, he's on the move. Zam is actually making a move towards the side. Let's see what Safe can do to deal with it. Absolutely nothing is the answer to that question.
Now, where will he go after B, though?
But, I mean, 19 tickets left. This is looking fantastic for Elevate. And after such a shaky start on Zavod, seeing PKD come back from a 30-ticket deficit, Elevate...
I got it.
Go.
I know why he was there.
Go. Light bulb moment.
He didn't want to force the random respawns behind him, behind the team at A. Because by forcing them to spawn at C, they had to run all the way back towards A every time.
Oh,
So he was holding them back there in their spawn, so that way they buy more time.
Because if he wasn't there, the random respawn would have been much far higher up.
Well, and if he pushed past the line towards C, they could have spawned behind A.
You're a smart man.
Oh.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. My foolish criticism has been put
I'm just guessing.
No, I think that does make perfect sense.
That does sound like a legitimate reason.
For the reason it made no sense in my head was because I couldn't quite think of any particular reason for his positioning, but that does make a lot more sense. I'm glad Jason, or one of us, is on the ball today. But in the
if you keep guessing, eventually you'll get something right.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, guesses aside, we do have a huge lead in favor of the US side of Elevate. And I mean, this looks like we're going to possibly be seeing Paracel Storm as our third map. For those of you that are wondering what we could possibly have yet to look forward to. But right now, PKD got a couple of more tickets under their belt, waiting to get those last couple of spawns in. Hysteria is obviously holding on to his spawn as the last one ticks away. It's going to be 89. Is that the largest we've seen? It is 89 in favor of Elevate for tonight. That's a huge lead. I think the closest to that we did have 80, which was the Epsilon versus Elevate game. This time, it's actually in the Elevate corner of things instead of against them. Look at that scoreboard though, Jason. 19-1. That's right. The man who I was saying was a completely wrong position. It actually picked up 19-1. Obviously, not moving does aid your KDA, but right now he was an influential role in keeping hold of B and C, and he didn't need to move. He played it perfectly. However, credit to Lagza because he was the man pushing on that B site when he needed to.
You know, you should have pointed that out because then we would have looked a little bit smarter. But now we just look so dumb because he has 19 kills and 1 death. Just wow, fantastic job. But I mean, look on the other side.
It's not. It didn't go well for them. It really didn't.
I'm just trying to think. Like it wasn't strategy that caused PKD to lose.
No, it wasn't.
It was just pew 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 pew.
Yep, there was a lot of pew-pewing
the right spots
and a lots of not moving, but actually really well. I bet a lot of people in chat are right now going, "This guy knows nothing. Why was he criticizing the 19-1?"
Not only in chat.
Yeah, and this guy beside me as well. But I mean,
no, our producer.
Is he shaking
I'm with
his
you.
head?
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
no, but it did not make sense to me. And it worked out perfectly. So real big, huge credit to Elevate because that was something that we don't often see. Admittedly, we see that position, but we don't see the stubbornness to move. And they were forcing those respawns. It was working out perfectly for them.
Sorry, I just saw someone chat. Jason, you're so smart. Thanks, Miss Rage. I'm so smart.
Jason, you're so smart. Jason is, of course, the smart one, and I'm the handsome one. That's just how we get. That's how they package us.
That's what we tell them.
Yeah, that's how they package us. But
okay, buddy.
We're going into.
You can be the buff one.
The buff one. I need to hit the gym. Buff. Is that the right? Yeah, you were using it in that way as opposed to like shiny.
What? You're not the buffer.
You can buff metal and stuff using a buffer. Hench is the word. You know.
Really?
There's loads of words.
Hench?
Hench.
I've never heard that word before, actually.
Like henchen if you're German. Henchen.
Like chicken?
Henchen, yeah, chicken.
Anyways,
well, we've gone on a tangent.
Schmetterling.
That's what happens when you wait for once again to go into Dawnbreaker. There's very little variation in maps at the moment, guys. If you're wondering why we haven't seen any Langkang under the such ilk, it's because we have lost those maps and we've actually had 2 new additions, which Jason pronounces so beautifully. Jason, what are the other 2 maps?
Propaganda. And the second one, it's so nice that I actually want to let you say it.
No. Please, take it away.
Oh, it's pretty easy. Lumfini Garden.
Lumfini?
Yeah.
Sounds like a pasta. So, Italian maps aside.
It's the strange sister of Olive Garden.
The strange sister of Olive Garden. You see, we don't have Olive Gardens here. That's very States thing, isn't it?
Do you even know what it is?
It's like a kind of, I don't know, an Italian restaurant
yeah,
chain?
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, let's go with that.
We should probably move well away from our tangent right now. Let's jump straight back into the battlefield, guys. Jump onto tabletop and see how it's settling. We do see actually Elevate picking up the early AB hold. I don't know how long that's going to last, as we do know if... where is Nosy? There he is. Nosy not trying his sneaky A push. That's something he has been doing a lot of. Perhaps knows it's not worked out too well for him this time around, looking to instead to perhaps pay their attentions towards A. We're seeing a stack of players from Elevate all around this B flag, and it's going to be a pretty standard start, I think. This is usually what we see in Dawnbreaker. We haven't seen it in these last couple of games, but most Dawnbreaker maps, we do see this very kind of back and forth action around this B site.
Yeah, it's... Well,
back to the meta game.
I'm just thinking right now, it's nothing's really changed from the first half to this one at this point. I mean, yeah, 2 kills for Outsider, 2 for Hysteria, 1 for Nosy, 1 for Jansen, and 0 for Safe so far. It's just kind of a big struggle for them. You have Lagzer at 7-2, Kreiser at 3-1, and Zam at 1-3. More deaths this game than he had last time already in the first 2 minutes. But either way, I mean, they have a lot of tickets to work with. 89 is that threshold here. If we do see Elevate drop below that, then... Or sorry, PKD drop below that, then they will have lost on map 2, and we'll go to map number 3. But it's just such a daunting amount of tickets that mentally you're kind of defeated before you even begin.
Yeah, it's not an easy target to reach for. I mean, I know when you go into a game and you've got 89 tickets against you, that's just such a huge chunk taken away from you. Unless you get a start, perhaps like Elevate did. I mean, Elevate, what is it, like 50 tickets at 2 minutes? They just taken away.
They lost 5 tickets within the first, like, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, but into PKD, they took, what, 50, 60? Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. If you get a start like that, that's when those deficits become... you know, scraps. It's not really such an issue, but right now it's not. It's pretty level. Elevate do have that slightly, but it's not quite going to be easy. Well, it's not going to be easy for PKD to deal with right now. Hysterias and his team have managed to push towards that A site, but it's going to be questioned by this current spawns from Lagza and co.
Well, they're going to get a tri-cap off of this, so PKD finally got a little bit of life, a little bit of spring in their step. They have to maintain this A flag. They cannot let this one fall. They need to maintain every single flag at this point, and right now at this rate, they're going to lose every single flag. They've spread themselves a little bit too thin. They've lost 3 men against 2 on the A flag.
Look at that split.
They're going to lose everything.
That's a fantastic split. They managed to get a near squad wipe and just 2-1-2. It's like a football formation. We see them spreading themselves up across the map beautifully and going straight back, trip cap to trip cap. Great response from Elevate.
I don't want to give them criticism, though, because it's kind of like it was an all-or-nothing move. Like,
yeah.
They don't have many tickets left to work with. As you can see right now, it's safe already even calling the GGs on this map, wants to change it already, because they realize, you know, if we don't pick up a tri-cap and hold it, then there's no way we're going to win. So they had to go for that. Unfortunately, not working out for them. And that means we will go over onto Parasol Storm next. And this is an interesting one. I believe Meechmakers has a pretty good record on Parasol Storm. And I don't know if that's due to Safe and his calls, but I'm wondering if they've been able to practice this map with this new lineup.
It's an well, I don't think many, there hasn't been many hours put into practicing. I think it's been more a case of, obviously, PKD getting squad wiped yet again. That's worth highlighting. But you're right, it's been a kind of bumpy ride, I think, for PKD at the moment. When you get a new roster, you're almost really looking forward to, really hoping to have those kind of surprise wins that you wouldn't normally expect. However, right now, all this has done is it's made it almost more difficult for PKD to get results that previously probably wouldn't have struggled. Because, I mean, this team right now that we're looking at for PKD, I wouldn't expect to get 3rd, 4th in the offlines. And that's what they did.
Oh, they even brought out the planes. Sorry, I was listening. Yeah, it's a little weird. It really is. It's kind of like, obviously, you know, being offline is a little bit different than being, you know, in an online environment.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a lineup. I mean, one person can make a huge difference to your team.
Of course.
You know, one change can completely change on, you know, the way you play, the communications, how everything works within the team in terms of, you know, for instance, if you have like a really big rager on your team and you're not used to that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying Safe's a rager. I'm not saying anyone on Elevate's or on PK's a rager. But let's just, you know, for this instance, and everyone's okay with it. Like they understand. You know, just leave him alone.
Just let him vent.
Yeah, and then you bring someone else into the team who's not used to that. Then he'll be off put. Like, I mean, Safe hasn't unfortunately been performing well in terms of just KDAs alone. Maybe that's something that, you know, he's off put by. Obviously, it's not, you know, I'm not saying it's a rager at all, but
you are.
It's something like that can be,
yeah.
You know, really effective to the single player. And then not to mention bringing one person to say he's, you know, if he's a rager and the team never has had one before, then that's going to throw off their whole chemistry, you know? So it's a lot of subtle things.
Yeah, it's a team dynamic as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to be communicating in English now. Because I'm pretty sure was a full German lineup, and I don't think Safe speaks German.
I don't know.
I don't want to go down that route without knowing the facts, but I do think there's a lot of changes. That's basically what we want to highlight, is that it must be very tough for PKD. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes going on, and I don't know how well it's gonna translate, and without a lot of practice. And I mean, PKD, this is a team, they hadn't changed. There wasn't that many roster swaps prior to this in a very long time. Now they've grabbed an NYM player and they're just trying to make it work, and it's not quite coming together as much as they'd expected.
You know, I'm thinking of something particular. So Fnatic, they changed out between was it the first season? I think it was the first season, the winter season.
Yeah.
They changed out Winghaven and brought in Drunks.
I didn't.
And they played ridiculously well together. Like they were fantastic. They were completely better than they were ever before.
Immediately?
Yeah, immediately.
Okay.
They were fantastic. Like they played so damn well. I mean, it took them like a couple days maybe to get, you know, in the gist of things. But we're seeing like two, you know, opposites. We're seeing PKD was safe on the team, kind of struggling a little bit. We see, you know, Fnatic with the roster swap just completely excel. And it's kind of cool to see that, you know, the two different sides of the spectrum here. But, you know, right now for PKD's sake, they need to really focus again.
Well, you say focus. I don't doubt they've been focusing. I just don't think that they've been getting the results they expected. And I think perhaps they need to go back to the drawing board, maybe re-deal with roles. I don't think Safe's happy with his role. I don't know whether PKD is happy with his role at the moment, because he's not doing the same job before. He was the man who told you what to do, why we should be doing it, and how excited you should be. He was the real hype man, especially in the offline stages. But we do have the 30-second countdown now, guys. I don't see too much changing now in terms of Safe's performance, but it's all up in the air going into map number 3. Obviously, PKD taking map number 1, Dawnbreaker going to Elevate, and now we're jumping into map number 3 to determine who else is going to join Epsilon in the playoffs here at Group A.
All right, well, on the US side, we will have Elevate, it looks like. On the Chinese side, it will be PKD.
There's a storm rolling in.
Never mind, I was thinking like of Adele or something. But either way, I'm actually curious about the split Adele, you know?
Yeah, I felt
Rolling in the
Oh, yeah, you got like a kind of a smile, a small smile out of me.
small smile, that's
all
cheeky.
you got.
But we do have, looks like, a 2-man push out of the PKD side onto the A flag, while there's a 3-man there on the side of Elevate to meet them there. So we will have C and A picked up here for Elevate early on. We'll have B picked up by PKD, though. And this map, it usually comes down to that building control, who can kind of get in there and lock those two down, or if you're on the other side, if you are taking enough engineer kits, to knock them all down.
Yeah, and I know very well that MYM were one of those teams that loved to destroy the building, like level the B's site. And this time, it's not going to happen. I mean, this is a whole different side. PKD very much rely on those B buildings to defend the sites. It's how they've done it, and it's how they're going to aim to do it. So right now, we're going to see a conflict of interests on the PKD side of things. And right now, the A and C flag are flying the Elevate colors. I don't know how long it's going to last for. It's 2 random respawns from PKD, and Nosy at the forefront of that one is going to be hitting his prone key hard as the spray comes coming towards him. And now, dipping his toes in the sea as he goes back to the drawing board.
Of course, you know, USA is going to win because they're the best country ever. So that's why we're seeing them with the lead right now. Are you sort of chant USA? I'll join you in that one if you ever do one day. But we do see BA here going to be actually turned over. So going to the side of Elevate. They're going to quickly swap around the C flag here. And I'm a little bit worried, actually. I feel like maybe this map catches PKD off guard. Because this is a map that's not as simple as Dawnbreaker in terms of you just aim, you know. This is a map that takes a lot of strategy to really work around, especially with all the buildings, all the angles you have to watch out for, and all the angles that you have to trust that your teammates are locking down and covering. And right now, Elevate, they seem to have a pretty easy time here, carrying over the momentum that they got from that last map on Dawnbreaker.
And this advantage is looking pretty sturdy. Obviously, it was a near squad wipe against Elevate. BKD picking up the franks when they need to. But it's not quite enough for going, again, 5 to 50. It's such a very kind of constant issue that PKD seems to be running into, is Elevate are just running away with tickets at the moment. Finally, PKD chime in with an an AC hold. But for how long? Right now, Jansen falling around that B site. Outsiders there as well on the outside, believe it or not. To pick up a frag on towards the B statue area. Not going to get one as Jason giggles like a little girl. Outsider goes down as well. Trying to pick up the Magnum frag. Couldn't quite manage it. And now with the AC hold, let's see how long this lasts.
All right, well, we will find out here as they've been able to hold to it for a little bit of time. I think it's about 30, 45 seconds. Elevate getting a little bit tired of that, starting to push in towards the A flag. Trying to cap that one over, but we're going to, of course, have Nosy and Jansen sit in the back. Trying to maintain it from the back of these trenches here, and it's really hard to kind of take that when you have this huge defense line kind of protecting it. So C flag is going to be the one thing that's going to be open here, and well, Asteria did get taken down, so we could potentially see that push in just a few seconds as finally Outsider breaks through that B flag. He's actually going to pick it up here. We're going to see a tri-cap in favor of PKD. So we saw Elevate with a stronghold in the beginning. We're seeing PKD now start to really warm up and kind of get control of this map. It's really kind of back and forth at this point. Yeah,
and they're holding onto this trip cap for a dangerously long amount of time. Like, I mean, I was not expecting them hold onto the AC hold, never mind an ABC. Starting the alphabet
it's
and
easy as 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. Now, managing to hold onto it for a dangerous amount of time. And I'm looking at Elevate and I'm thinking, this is a near squad wipe against Kryzer and Zam. Only 2 men standing at the moment, and now a Nosy is looking to get a bit nosy towards this C site. We'll see if he can find anything, sniff it out. As Kryzer is on the prowl, just going to manage to get through the tags and get himself set up on this C flag team. It's going to be joining him as well now. He's got the Magna, but he's going to meet some serious trouble. Outsider at the forefront gets in with the AEK. Drops a health pack as well to lick his wounds as he hits the beautiful Magnum headshot. Bullet to the brain of Kryzer was all it took, and now that trip cap continues to tick away. And somehow they've turned this around from a 50-ticket deficit. They were 140 to under 50. And now suddenly the tickets are leveling out in favor of PKD. That is the power of a successful trip cap.
That just shows you how quickly you can go from a 50-ticket lead to being tied up here. And
it's crazy.
Not to mention, you know, right now PKD, they're actually up about 20 tickets at this point. So fantastic job to them. But now, can they maintain control? They're losing B. And you can see one man there, Malcolm, trying to work around last man in squad, which is never a good sign to see when you're the last man alive or when you're playing, period. And it's actually going to have B go back in favor here of the side of PKD. And right now, I don't know what's wrong with Elevate. They're just kind of struggling currently. They're maybe a little bit hesitant to go for their pushes. Like the C flag's been open for quite a long time, and no one really kind of got to it. When they did, it was a little bit too late because they were met by reinforcements and met by an opposition there.
And this means a lot to Elevate.
This is almost a tri-cap yet again. I mean, it's going to be a neutralized in time, but still. With the way everyone's kind of swarming over the A flag, with everyone spawning in on the A flag from Elevate, they really don't have anywhere to go. They kind of need to depend on these random respawns to get lucky behind B and C.
Yeah, and luck doesn't seem to favor them at the moment. Lagza has been trying these pushes constantly, and every single time it's been getting shut down. This time, not going to be the case. Takes her down. Hysterias is going to look to maybe continue his pushes, towards this B flag. But right now, Kryzer is in a very tight spot. Every member from Elevate is separated, and it's causing this huge deficit to start to grow. And I know Elevate will not deal well with this deficit. PKD just did it fantastically, and I don't think Elevate are capable of doing the same thing. They are not in the same caliber when it comes to, playing from a deficit. Every time we've seen Elevate do well, it's because they've started strong and they've finished strong. Elevate, this time they've started strong and they've started slipping, and I don't think they have it within their arsenal as a team to come back from that successfully.
Well, they did get a little bit of lucky respawn in towards the northeast side between C and A, so they're able to actually head up towards that C flag, neutralize it, and even pick up a 1v1 right there. You see Kryzer is able to get the kill. We've still got one more man off to a side here, and it looks like that man's going to play it really patient, maybe wait for a respawn or two to come in. They're able to cap over B during this entire time as well. But they will lose on the 1v1 at C. We will have looks like maintained just barely here, as it will be kept over, I think, in just a few seconds for the side of PKD. And look at this lead, 86 to 35. They are just starting to snowball this game in their favor after being down so many tickets in the beginning. It's kind of hard to believe that a team can kind of rally like that, but they've done a fantastic job. They're going to get a tri-cap yet again here. And we're looking at potentially, a 70-plus ticket lead here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and it's we both sound like in disbelief. But I mean, when the kills are so level.
Well, look at the last map. I mean, we saw them get a 50-ticket lead, and they just kept growing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, 89 going in with the first half of Dawnbreaker. That's insanity. And we see it yet again. Elevate did exactly the same thing. It was almost a rinse and repeat, like, oh, here we go again. And what have they done? Is it Elevate slipping, or is it PKD stepping up?
Honestly, I don't think I can tell you.
I
feel like
it's a bit of both.
And I feel like it's a little bit of both. I think PKD are a little bit better at playing in controlled chaos than obviously the opposition, and not to mention
safe.
He's
not underperforming.
I did say before that Meech Maker is really fantastic on this map, and obviously being an ex-Meech Makers player, he's a little bit more used to it. So.
Okay. Perhaps this is, perhaps, how we've been questioning, is he bringing MYM strats to the PKD side? And perhaps this is the map where PKD have said, okay, show us how it's done. And perhaps he's back into the role he loves, back into what he knows best, and he's telling PKD where to play, and how to do so. And it's working out perfectly right now. 71 tickets in favor of PKD in this first half. They're just trying to set the biggest ticket lead they possibly can going into the second half. They know Elevate don't play that well from deficits. Every time we've casted them previously, they've either got the deficit or they've lost the map. Got the early lead, or they've lost the map. That makes more sense. Right now, the AC hold is still ticking away for the Chinese side of PKD. It knows he's looking to make it a trip cap.
5 seconds left to go here. It looks like, unfortunately, it knows they really won't be able to maintain this one.
Yeah, there it goes. 65 is the magic number. And, I mean, this is going on. This is going to be a real 3-mapper. PKD, they've got the lead. The question I have now is, are they going to drag it out? Can Elevate get the early lead and bring this down to the wire? Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a walkover going into half number 2.
I guess that question will be answered in
so
just
very
a couple
shortly.
Minutes. I mean, it's very hard to predict how the games are going to go because we always talk about the game. If, say, one guy in the beginning of the game gets 5 kills, it's kind of hard to see the reflection of that in the tickets and see the reflection of that throughout the entire game. But I feel like in a lot of these one-sided maps that we've seen so far, or halves, it comes down to a lot of these 1v1s that we don't really necessarily notice too well. Because if you think about it, if you kill a guy in a 1v1, you get the flag, you change where the other team's going to respawn in, you change where they're going to potentially attack. You can get some reinforcements to kind of hold a certain area. And a lot of these things, we take for granted, we don't really notice. But PKD, they had more kills. They did a better job. I didn't feel like either team really got a strong hold in anything except the tri-cap we saw early. Like, it wasn't like, PKD were holding on that well. There's a lot of trades going on with the flags, but they were just able to cap a little bit quicker. They were able to be a little bit faster in the rotates and just be a little bit quicker on the trigger.
Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised mentioning triggers. Every single player I cut to of the PKD side just seemed to be getting frags that they weren't doing on Dawnbreaker. They were...
No, you're happy I mentioned triggers.
Yeah, because I was just about to highlight, you know, these kills that they get. Every single time I was cutting to a PKD player, they were getting kills that I was sat there like, this is like we were watching them like 20 minutes ago when they weren't picking up any of these kind of frags. You were saying they weren't winning the 1v1s. Now they are. Jason's pulling a funny face.
There's a lot of things going through my head right now.
Are you holding on to them? You're going to keep them personal, keep them private?
I'll tell you later.
Fantastic. We're going to be jumping into the game, guys. It's its 15-second countdown. It's the last 15-second countdown of the night.
It's the final countdown of the night. I'm getting in so many songs today. This is fantastic. I mean, look, I'm staying away from Justin Bieber like you were earlier on.
Never Say Never is not exclusive to Justin Bieber. I reckon the Victorians were saying Never Say Never. So I think you cannot...
The Victorians speak English?
Yes.
That didn't seem really confident.
What? No, it's more of a case. That's probably another one of Jason's, oh, where's Zimbabwe?
Don't ask me geography questions. Everyone knows this.
Okay, right. Well, so while Jason asked if Victorians spoke English, let's Shakespeare was okay. Never mind. I'm not gonna do this on air. Let's jump into game as Jason probably knows a little bit more about Battlefield than he does about the Victorians. Jump us in with B and A, Jason.
All right. Well, we do have over on the Chinese side Elevate this time. They've been able to pull off an early 2-1 hold here. They were able to get 2-1s before, though, against PKD on this map in that first half, but they weren't able to maintain them. And already Jansen could be breaking through at the B flag. Looks like he will neutralize it, and we'll turn over in just a few seconds. Tofi and Lags are the last two standing here, but you know, one thing we didn't really see in that last half, because it was so fast, was building control. Like, neither team really emphasized control of the building to maintain it, kind of play from that sentry position, and just kind of shoot down anything that kind of moves. Teams were more about being mobile, moving around and kind of getting in each other's faces. And, you know, right now, 2-1 back in favor of PKD. This is going to be a rough one. You don't have a lot of tickets left to work with. 65 is that threshold here. And if Elevate drop below that, they would have lost to the team they beat earlier on.
Yeah, it could very well be a big problem at the moment. 137 to 132. So every single ticket that ticks away, that falls away from Elevate is going to be the first nail in the coffin. Obviously, every ticket counts. And this team is so desperate to get through. Elevate, it's a team that really want their chance to shine. And if it's gonna be snatched away from PKD, a team that forgot about our deal. I was going to get punished every time I said the word shine, and Jason has kept his word. And right now, we do see tickets are leveling out.
What does the sun do?
The sun gleams brightly, glows perhaps, but never that word. Take it away, Jason.
Right, yeah, in all seriousness, because this game is honestly, yeah, it's just started 2 minutes in, but it's still winding down here. I mean, 60 tickets. We're at the halfway point here for the side of Elevate if they want to be able to come back from this one and get to playoffs like they did last season. You remember under the Exertus tag, they were able to get through there, not able to perform as well as they have hoped to. But you know, this is a whole season's of work right now, coming down to one half. You know, you spent every week playing. You participated in all the cups. Both teams placed the exact same standing in the quarterfinals as far as they were able to get in all 4 cups. Like, this is a lot of months time of work coming down to this one half, and both these teams really need to step up right now. Elevate able to pick up B, able to pick up C, able to cap A at the same time here. A tri-cap going to be coming in for a split second, it seems. And if they can kill a nosy on this B flag, which they do, they're going to maintain the trip cap.
I'm not sure how well this is going to go. I mean, this is a trip cap Elevate need. They need to hold on to this one now. Don't forget just how ahead of Just don't forget how ahead PKD are. That was a mouthful. Managed to get there in the end. 117 though. As we do see that trip cap relinquished from their control. Hysteria is the man behind the C cap, and Jansen the man behind the B cap. So that's very nice damage control from PKD. I don't think it's cost them too much either, as they're going to see Jansen just sprint away from B without actually looking to defend it.
That scream.
There was like a Wilhelm scream, Battlefield version. He went down screaming, and now very smart play from Safe. Has to be highlighted that he has kind of used his brain. And he's managed to get all the way over towards the A site without alerting the defensive players from Elevate. Instead, they're kind of preoccupied over on this C flag, as Hysteria was past tense as the frag lands in his pocket in a 1v2.
All right, well, back to the game here.
B
I got
and
caught off
C.
guard right there for a second.
You have to keep your eyes on Elevate right now. They're very happy to defend C. They don't think they're going to really be looking to fight away from these sites, especially when they're looking so confident on them. And right now I've got my eyes set on Outsider and Jansen as they trying to make one of the final pushes they can make towards this B flag.
Well, down to 105 tickets. PKD still sitting on a lovely 93 here. 40 left to work with on the Chinese side. And right now, Elevate are struggling to really kind of get back into this one. They've been able to get the cap on a C here. Again, it's so weird to see Parents of Storm played out like this. Like, there's no control of the abilities. People just don't care about them. They'd rather just duke it out and fight and just have the best team win in terms of in TDM style. Luckily, they're going to pick up a 2v1. They're going to have a decent kind of line hold if they can maintain this. One thing PKD's been able to prove before is that they can break through these very, very quickly and very, very efficiently to turn it around. And well, 83 tickets to, compared to the 35. This is going to be a rough one for Elevate. They can pull it back. They've already gotten started. Hysteria, the last man standing in a squad. They can pull this one back. They could pull this off. It's going to be tough, but you know what? They're starting to do it here.
Yeah, they're looking pretty confident. The AB hold is looking to stand, and obviously Elevate, they have that pressure. They've got that constant bearing down pressure of 65 tickets is ringing in their ears. They can hear it every step they take, just how close PKD are to closing this game out. But every ticket that they keep hold of now, they've got that BA hold, and it's looking pretty strong. Only man I can see currently challenging the control of that B flag is Safe. But Nade has just landed right there. They seem to know his whereabouts. Squads are spawning in on him as well, and that's not the wisest move, especially when they worked out where Safe is. And the man hunting for his blood is Kryzer. Not going to connect the shots just yet, though.
Why is he... Why? Why attack C? I don't understand. Because Tofi, right after they got the 2-cap and they got the squad wipe, he was going to head towards C, but he fell back. He went defensive. And why did Malcolm do it? Why did he hit C when they could have maintained it? Because now they're breaking through on the backside, on the very south side of the map. They have 3 men to storm all of this B5. They're going to lose control of it here, and they're going to lose a lot of tickets from it. I don't understand.
The determining factor now is this C flag. If it knows he can defend, he can't. He
they
goes
lose
down.
A as well.
They've lost A. No, they've lost C. They've lost A. Everything is going to be neutral for a second. Suddenly, all of the flags disappear from the map, and we're going to see exactly how they look to respond. Don't forget, 65 is the magic number. As you look towards the Chinese side, Elevate, they need to keep hold of this one. 65 is the threshold they have to meet. Still advantage in the hands of the US side, PKD. But for how long? Safe in the middle area. He needs to make something happen here as he keeps hold of B. If he can keep hold of one, he gets the first frag, then knows there's a second around there. If he can't get it, then perhaps we're going to see another change of guard on that B flag.
And Mag's just going to tag along with him real quickly if we can, because this is going to be a big moment for them. If they can hit this A flag and successfully get, actually gets taken down, unfortunately, but Kryzer's still going to be there. They have 3 men pushing in towards the B flag. We're almost at a tied game at this point, but now about 10 tickets remain on the side of Elevate. They need to get something. They need to get hold of something, and they're kind of just being chaotic, or they're just throwing their bodies at these flags, and they can't even pick them up here. PKD, they can smell the victory. They have only, what, 8 more tickets left to go through, and they will have secured themselves a spot. They're going to cap C in the meantime as well, as they do lose control of B. They're maintaining A, and this should be game.
It certainly should be. Only 5 tickets separate PKD from going through to playoffs. They know how close they are. All they need to do is keep hold of this AC. They're flying their flag high, and all Elevate can do is watch those tickets seep away. Last couple, only 2 to go. Make it 3 as the last couple come falling in, and PKD can start celebrating as the last ticket ticks away. We're going to see the victors, PKD, after such a bumpy road. Jason, that was so hard fought. Elevate made them fight for it. And even though after such a, I mean, it was a tough one for Safe. The guy didn't get many frags in the first 2 maps, brought it home when it mattered in the third. And that was a fantastic effort, a group effort from PKD progressing through to the playoffs.
It was a really rough set of games between these 2 teams. You know, I'm thinking about how the first game went, obviously with Elevate coming out ahead in that one. It wasn't like they were, winning in outstanding fashion. We have to think about this in particular. There was disconnects. There was, Safe, he disconnected in 2 of the maps. They played in the first game, and Elevate still, came out with the victory, but he didn't disconnect once. No one on the side of PKD disconnected at all during that game, and we're seeing a complete kind of difference between them. I was really curious to see what happened on Dawnbreaker, though, for Planetkey, because typically they were really good at that map, but then they just got worked so hard. I wonder if that's just obviously with the new lineup that they're running. Well, maybe they weren't prepared for it as much.
No,
it was
they didn't look good. You're right.
I think they're going to look back now, since they're going to be qualified into the playoffs, of that's a map we need to work on. The thing is, there's so much they need to work on at this point. It wasn't like a clean victory throughout the entire time. It was really rough at some points, and the fact that they have 2 maps also that are new that most likely can be played, they have a lot of work cut out for them.
Compare the games we just casted of PKD to Epsilon. It was like, I mean, with the way
like
those
night and
those two teams have now just been put through to the same positions, first and second seed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you compare Epsilon's path of two very easy 2-0 sweeps to the hard graft. PKD looked like they'd lost it 2-3 times throughout that entire thing.
Yeah.
And so seeing how hard PKD had to fight for that, you know that those two teams now progressing into the playoffs have got their two very different routes. And it's going to be interesting to see how PKD use the time they now have to perhaps improve and also to look at those new maps.
The thing is, it's not going to be easy for them. Let's actually go and take a look at the overall group bracket that we had today and show you obviously the two teams and how they Actually, no, we're not going to do that because you know what we're going to do? We're going to show you the overall groups really quickly because I want to describe something to you because of how this kind of system works. Is it's the first qualified team plays against the second place team of one of the groups and the second place team plays against the first place team of a group. We don't know who's up against yet, but just keep this in mind. Planetkey could potentially be up against Gamers Connection, Dignitas, Mutual Makers, Fnatic. For really big name, long-standing teams, that's going to be very rough for them. And they have a lot of work cut out for them. Them and Elevate would have had a lot of work cut out no matter what, because none of these games are really super clean out of them. But of course, Group B will be coming up tomorrow at the same time, 1900 CET, no longer CEST anymore, at 7 p.m. if you use that one. Yep. We have Gamers Connection up against MMG, Dignitas up against Mutual Makers in that one. And of course, Group C to come up next week here. Any predictions from Group B looking at this?
Oh, I just love the look of GC. All credit to them.
They are phenomenal this season.
Well, they're on fire this season, and they've gone nigh undefeated. Every single online cup, those have been the names in the semis and the finals. So keep your eye on GC. MYM, I want to see MYM without Safe. I want to see where that goes. I want to see how that goes for them. I think I didn't catch the name of the player replacing him. It's Sayo. So we'll see how that works out for them. We'll see if it had the same effect.
He's played with them before too, I believe.
Was he a backup? That's
I think he's a backup.
Up? Okay, so there is still some synergy there. I mean, I've always credited every time I start talking about MYM, I start talking about Safe. And now that that's changed, I don't know how MYM is going to play.
They still have some big hitters. Ducky Chan, Punch Rule, two very strong players. Flax in there as well.
Yeah.
But you take out their voice. Can they still talk? Can they still bark? You know,
well, if all the games, when it comes to FPS, you need that. You need the bark. You need that player who's just going to be shouting, making it very clear what we're doing, when. And without that, I don't know where it's going to go for MYM. But GC is definitely the name to watch for that group. And I'm looking forward to casting it tomorrow. All
right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you again, Alex, for joining me. Thank you very much, Tim, to our producer, for sticking with us for today's show. Guys, remember, 1900 CET will be kicking off Group B. Make sure to tune in. And again, once again, congratulations to Epsilon and BKD for advancing through. We'll see you guys tomorrow.